Good morning, church, and welcome to our morning devotion. I hope you all are doing good. Let me begin by asking you a question. Do you remember any time in your life when you are afraid? Yes, there'll be times or many times in our life we must have gone through some situation or some circumstances where we do not know what to do, where we don't know like if there is any solution to our problem, or we must have panic. One day, a mother and a little child went to a marketplace, and this marketplace was crowded. There was so much crowd in that marketplace, and suddenly, this child leaves her mother's hand and runs away. And this mother searches for the child everywhere. She's searching, she's asking everyone, but she could not find the child anywhere. And she starts crying, and even she starts feeling breathless. And as she is searching everywhere, she is desperately searching in every corner. And finally, she sees her child sitting in one corner and crying. And as soon as she sees her child, she feels as if some life has come back into her body. Yes, she starts breathing once again normally. Yes, we go through some situations or such times in our life where we do not know what to do, where we panic and we just have no answers to our problem. I'll read a verse, a very short verse from Psalm 56, verse 3. It says that when I am afraid, I will put my trust in you. Yes, as we have just read this verse, we can ask ourselves after reading this verse two questions. What makes us feel afraid? And what do we do when we are afraid? The Psalm 56, which we have just read, was written by David. Yes, David was a warrior. And we can say about David that he was a courageous young man. And we see later on in David's life that he becomes the king of Israel. So, here in the Psalm, David did not say that if I am afraid. Here, David is saying that when I am afraid, sometimes even like for us, it is okay to admit that there are some situation, there are some circumstances that makes us feel afraid. And we can go to the very first question, that what makes us afraid. For example, sometimes we feel afraid when we are not in control. We feel afraid when we do not see any solution to our problem. Sometimes we feel afraid because we might have made some mistake, and it was because of my own mistake that today I am in this particular problem. So these are some of the things, or there'll be many other things or circumstances that makes us feel afraid in life. But again, the very important question is that what do we do when we are afraid? Normally, there are two responses what we can do when we are afraid. Either we can fight a problem, or we can run away from a problem. Sometimes the problem with the first response, that is to fight a problem, is that we may do things in a hurry and without even carefully thinking or proper thinking, and we may end up doing things that we may finally regret. And the problem with another response, that is to run away from the running away, is to run away from the situation or ignoring the problem, ignoring that the problem exists. And many times with the second response, what happens is that when we run away from the problem, we may uh, turn to wrong ways. And sometimes many people turn towards wrong ways, like they get into alcohol addiction, they get into smoking, or many other things of this world. So let us see once again, what does our verse say. Our verse says that instead of fighting our problems, or instead of running away from our problem, our response should be faith. Yes, that should be, and that what we should do when we feel afraid. Again, let's read that same verse from Psalm 56, verse 3. And it says that when I am afraid, I will put my trust in you. Yes, this is not automatic, or it will happen all of a sudden. This is the response that needs to be learned and practiced. Yes, we need to keep on practicing this, that whenever we are afraid, we will put our trust in the Lord. So in case if there is any kind of fear, we can start from today and we can put our trust in God, and we can remind ourselves this was from Psalm 56 verse 3 every day, that it says that when I am afraid, I will put my trust in you. Amen.